Hello my craft friends, welcome back to Sweet Bay Lane. Just in case you're new here, my name is Tracy. One of the reasons I say just in case you're new here is because this video is part of a collaboration called Craft Your Stash that is being hosted by Lisa with Crafting My Best Life with Lisa and Kristen over at Kristen K. And these very talented creators have taken the time to curate a list of other talented creators, and I just so happen to be lucky enough to be on that list. And speaking of lists, I'll have the playlist linked in my description box below, waiting for you when you get done watching this video. So let's go ahead and get started crafting. For DIY number 1, we're going to be using these supplies, which consist of this welcome word cutout, this bunny wood cutout, and this wooden flower box. And look at that cute little bunny tail. More about that later. We start our project by prepping our welcome word cutout. And to do that, I just trimmed the hanger string and then filled in the holes with some DAP spackle. And when you're filling in the holes with the spackle, just make sure you make like a little hump of spackle. Don't just make it flush with the wood because you want to sand it flush once it's dry. Now we're going to continue on and we're going to paint our welcome with this beautiful yellow-green paint from Hobby Lobby. It's called Crafter's Collection. And I'm going to be using a spouncer for mine because I just want the paint on the front of the word. I don't want it on the sides or the back. And I love this color. If you're looking for the beautiful green spring color, this is perfect. Now we're going to paint our bunny, and we're going to paint it a beautiful pink, which is called Princess Pink, and that's also from the Crafter's Collection at Hobby Lobby. Once we get it painted, front and back, and you'll see I just taped around the tail so I wouldn't get paint on the tail. But now we're going to dry brush our bunny on the sides with that beautiful yellow-green that we painted the welcome sign with. I think it really ties the bunny into the green welcome sign. What do you guys think? Now we're going to move on, and I wanted to add a face to my bunny, so I started out with a pencil by drawing the face on first. Then I came in with some black and white and pink paint and filled the face in. Now, I'm not the best face painter of things, but I do know from my husband, who's an artist, he says that if you want to bring your eyes or your face to life, you need to add some highlights. So that's what I'm going to do with this white paint. I'm going to add some highlights into the eyes and paint the nose pink and add some highlights to it as well. What do you guys think? It is my first try at a bunny face, so not too bad. Okay, now that we have everything painted, we start to assemble our project. And for that, you'll just put your bunny on the back side of your box, and we're just going to hot glue it down and then come in and secure it with a hammer and some nails. The glue is to help hold it in place, so when it's time to hammer the nails in, it's a much easier process. And just keep in mind that you can do this with any wood cutout that you prefer. I actually have a chicken cutout, and I almost did the chicken, but since we're coming up on the Easter season, I decided to make the bunny. And as you can see, the glue really helps with hammering the nails in. It's like having another set of hands. Now that we have our rabbit cutout on the back side, we're going to flip it over and secure our welcome word to the front side using the same process with the hot glue and the nails. Then we're left with this cute little flower box. Now, I bought some of these little petunias to put in mine, but you could put artificial flowers or plants or even herbs. I think that would be adorable too. But I thought the little pink petunias looked so pretty. Now we're moving on to DIY number 2. For DIY number 2, we're going to be using one of these wood rabbit cutouts. And we start by staining it or painting it, whatever you prefer. I'm going to be using this Americana gel stain in oak. Then once we have it stained or painted and it's dried, now I'm going to actually add a little bit of detail to mine with this rubber stamper I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to be using a brown ink and then stamping my bunny. And I love the faint detail of the stamping. And you can stamp it as much or as little as you prefer. Now once we have it stamped, we're going to be continuing on to some personalization. And for this, I printed out a personalized self-adhesive stencil with my silhouette machine that I'm going to put in the center of my rabbit. Also, just in case you want to make one of these for yourself or maybe have it for a craft night, I'll have the kits available in my shop, sweetbaylane.com. Now that we have it attached, we'll make sure all the edges are smoothed down so the paint doesn't bleed, and we're going to paint our stencil with a makeup sponge. And I'm going to be painting mine white. Then you're left with this cute, personalized little bunny. I think it turned out fantastic. What do you guys think? Not all crafts have to be super complicated. I think the most fun are the simple crafts myself. Now we're moving on to DIY number 3. The supplies for this DIY consist of 3 pieces of 2x4, 2 measuring 6 inches and 1 measuring 7. And we start by painting them black. Once we have them painted black and they've dried, we're now going to paint them a lighter color, and I'm going to be using this beautiful tan color on mine. Now that we have them painted tan and they've dried, we're going to distress them with some 80 grit sandpaper. I think sanding and distressing adds a great detail to the multiple layers of paint. And once I've sanded mine, I like to wipe them down with a damp cloth and let them dry. That way you get all the excess dust off for this next step, which is going to be adding these fun decals that I printed out on my silhouette machine. We're going to start by adding the initial or the letter M to the taller block, which is 7 inches tall. Once we have that done, we're going to continue on and we're going to add the other decals to the 6-inch pieces. And as you can see, once you have all your decals on, you're going to put this together to spell the word mother and then put this beautiful quote above that. I love how this turned out so much that I actually decided to offer it as a kit in my shop. For those of you that would like to recreate one, maybe you don't have a vinyl cutter or you don't have the tools to cut the 2x4 down. I thought it would be a fun project. And you can find it at sweetbaylane.com. I'll also offer other sayings like mother, brother, father, sister. I think this would all be appropriate and fit that beautiful quote. Hey, thank you so much for joining me, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I've loved crafting with you, and until next time, make sure and keep it crafty.